It's time to dive into the third full week that I've been driving for Cheeseman. Coming up. I'd gotten home Friday about 2:26 p.m., and I still had a little bit of a load that had to go back to Greer, South Carolina. I went ahead and rolled out on Sunday afternoon so that I could be ready to have a full drive day on Monday. So Sunday only has about 3 hours of drive time, 160 miles. I never get tired of watching the small town, small road, driving with the vibrant fall colors. Due to the end of daylight savings time, it was dark when I got to the terminal. Not a big deal. Parked the truck, dropped the trailer, did my post trip, and found a place to sleep for the night. Due to the fact that I have an appointment on Tuesday morning at my first location, I only drove 494 miles, 9 hours and 19 minutes. Prior to leaving the terminal, I had an issue. I weighed my truck and found that my truck was overweight on the trailer axles. This means I'm probably going to need the load reworked. When I went in and talked to dispatch, I got to learn a little about LTL and about Cheeseman Dispatch. With less than a load, you have multiple stops. This particular load would have had 6 stops. Dispatch, yes, a dispatcher, got on a forklift and simply took off that last stop, which would have actually been the first stop, and they'll put it on another truck. This is something you can do with less than a load. Instead of a 6-stop load, I now have a 5-delivery load. Not every day in trucking is perfect weather. Sometimes we have a little liquid sunshine to contend with. Tuesday, I drove 584 miles in a total of 10 hours and 17 minutes. I had 3 deliveries in different places in Tennessee. I had a delivery in Lexington, Tennessee, Piperton, Tennessee, and Memphis, Tennessee. With Millis on a delivery, I sat in the truck, usually in the sleeper, cooking breakfast or taking a nap, watching a little TV. Not quite the same at Cheeseman. Wednesday had me going from Cato Mills, Texas to my 2 deliveries in Fort Worth, Texas, then actually back through Cato Mills where I took my lunch and on to a small truck stop called the Big Red Travel Plaza in Whitehall, Arkansas. Often when we leave the interstate, it makes it a lot more difficult to find places to park the truck. I had taken a look at this one on an overhead picture and it looked like it had space for 20 to 30 trucks. Since I was arriving while it was still daylight, I figured there was a pretty good shot that I'd find a parking place. I was really hopeful it'd have good facilities, and it did. I have certainly marked this one in my GPS as something I will use in the future if I have an assignment in this area again. They have a parking lot, a cat scale, there's a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, but they have a full-service restaurant inside as well that is even open for takeout during this COVID. And they even have chicken livers. What kind of place has chicken livers today? Thursday morning started out with a pickup just 3 miles from where I spent the night, and I was taking it to Concord, North Carolina. Every docking situation has its particular challenges. Some are easier than others. This one had a tight area because they're paving and making a larger space for trucks to come in and out. Cheeseman trucks are set up differently than Millis trucks. As a result of that, I'm able to make a far tighter turn with a Cheeseman truck and not have to worry about bending a cab extender. Of course, the city truck with the far shorter trailer is able to make it just look like child's play. I had really wanted to make it through Atlanta before shutting down. I'd planned to make it to Braselton, Georgia, and shut down at the Pilot there. But Braselton, Georgia doesn't have a lot of parking places, so there's a good chance I wouldn't have been able to find parking and I would have been out of clock time. And it's a good thing I made that decision. There are 2 truck stops in Temple, Georgia, a Flying J and a Pilot across the street from each other. They are both full at this point, and I wound up having to pay for a parking place. I was lucky that I purchased my place when I did because there were only 7 parking places remaining at the smaller of the 2 truck stops, and the Flying J was actually completely sold out. This is where terminals are a definite advantage because with Millis, there was a terminal at exit 12 at Hallowell Parkway that I would have always been able to find parking in no matter what time of day. Parking is not difficult to find if you're coming off the road at a decent time. I was coming off the road at 7:41 p.m. That's not a decent time when you're looking for parking. Friday was 579 miles, and I had 10 hours and 38 minutes of drive time. That's about all my clock allows. To prevent cargo shifts, we use triangle-shaped wooden blocks, which we nail down using an electric nail gun called a Paslow. Oh yes, it's fun. Then, of course, we take them out using a giant pry bar. This is something for which we are paid. terminal that gave me a load that goes to Pensacola, Florida. And since that load in Pensacola, Florida doesn't deliver until Monday, 0800 hours, there's no point in not passing by the house. So I stopped by the house for the weekend. I'll leave out Sunday afternoon. We'll continue the vlog. This week almost made me feel like a regional driver. I really only drove Monday through Friday. Wound up with $1,525.15 as my settlement estimate. Now, this will be slightly higher because there is some blocking and unblocking that hasn't been approved yet. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow as we continue on this journey from executive to midlife trucker.